Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Sharika Sanders, and I am the CEO of Transform the Gap, where I help high achieving women in the corporate space, women of color specifically, and specifically them to overcome overwork and understanding how to get to that next level within their careers. And I have someone here with me today who is the epitome of all the things that we aspire to. It is the Chief Financial Officer of our Girl Scouts Nation Capital, Mrs. Jessica E. McClain. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Jessica. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. And so those words are so kind. I truly appreciate them.
True, true is true. And so please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, I have the honor and privilege of currently serving as the Chief Financial Officer for Girl Scouts Nation's Capital. And in that role, I have strategic responsibility for retail. Yes, we have retail operations, finance, business operations, our camp properties. We have beautiful camp properties across our region, and product program, which includes our iconic cookie program. And prior to that, I've spent about 10 years in public accounting as an auditor. And I say now that I get to bring two passions together that I operate at the intersection of accounting and social impact.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I'm sure I'm telling my age when I say this. So I was a Girl Scout, and when I was a Girl Scout, the cookies were $1.50 a box. So, and I'll just leave it at that.
Thought inflation.
So to ask our million dollar question, what is it that you know, or one of the things that you know that we should know?
Oh, wow. Can I do more than one?
Absolutely.
I got to drop some dollars today. So for actually anyone, but women and people of color coming into the accounting profession, I'm going to talk about areas beyond technical expertise, because that should be a given. You have to have the technical expertise. But
Mm-hmm.
some of the things even that I wish I had known earlier in my career, one of them is your network is going to be your net worth. It took time to understand that building relationships, if are just maybe not as important, but maybe more important than mastering those technical skills that we need.
Yeah.
I have been a recipient of knowing that there are doors that have opened for me in my career because of who knows me and who thinks of me when opportunities arise.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be intentional. It doesn't just happen on its own. You have to be intentional. And I know I've taken time to attend industry conferences, join various associations within the accounting profession, but also those on the industry that I work in as well. And for me, it's the nonprofit space. I'm doing virtual or in-person coffees and lunches and trying to engage with professionals at various levels within organization and different types of organizations as well. So you're going to have to be actively engaged to get to help build those, make those connections and build those relationships, which are important. You're going to have to seek out mentors, but even more importantly, I have to say sponsors. Women, we have been tended to be over mentored and under sponsored. And sponsors, these are the people that are going to advocate for you behind closed doors when you're not in the room. So they have to know you to be able to speak for you. The last I would say when it comes to networking, and this has worked for me humongously, is leveraging LinkedIn. People have to stop looking at it as just kind of a job search tool or this online resume tool, but see it as a tool for visibility, see it as
Mm-hmm.
a tool for thought leadership, and also, again, a way to help build those connections and have those relationships. Another area I have to say is important, and part of it is I transitioned from public accounting. So I spent 10 years as an auditor, auditing federal government agencies, and transitioned to nonprofit. You're going to have to be a lifelong learner. I actually have a natural thirst for knowledge, so it makes it a bit easier for me. But in the business world, with the technology, automation, regulatory shifts, you're going to have to stay relevant when it comes to what's going on. So you're reading industry publications, you're listening to various industry and accounting podcasts, webinars, going to various trainings, conferences are so important. Even while on your day-to-day job, maybe seeking out those stretch assignments and projects that are going to push you out of your comfort zone and We're currently doing office of renovation at our organization. And I used to have a picture on my wall that said, great things don't come from comfort zones. They really don't. You're going to have to push yourself beyond that. Certifications and additional education opportunities are important as well, and making sure they align with your goals. But the learning doesn't stop. I thought when I got
Right.
my CPA license, okay, I'm done. That's it. No, that's not it at all. And even what I'm learning now is different from what I was first learning when I entered the profession, over 15 years ago. So again, that lifelong learning piece is going to be so important. Another area, not about the technical piece, your people
Mhm.
skills and your emotional intelligence. And no, I'm still on my journey as well. As
Yes.
technology is able to do more for us in our day to day work, your ability to influence people, your ability to lead, your ability
Yep.
to communicate, my goodness, that is really going to define your career trajectory more than closing the books and reporting numbers. You're going to have to really focus on active listening. You learn more
Mhm. Mhm.
by listening,
Mhm.
by talking.
Mhm.
And so you're going to have to be able to value and respect and want to hear different perspectives, different experiences, different viewpoints. You're going to want to have to be the ability to do that. Um, Influence and persuasion, especially those who want to be in the higher ranks of leadership. It is important because you're going to have to convince leadership to maybe invest in various projects. You're going to have to guide a team through change. Your ability to sell ideas, it's going to be critical. It is going to be critical. That's not something AI can really do for you. Another one, conflict resolution. You're going to have to be able to
All
navigate
good.
difficult conversations. When you're in a leadership position in the organization, you can't run from conflict. There's no such thing as that. You can't
Right. Right.
reverse. It can't be. So you're going to have to master diplomacy, master your negotiation skills. Those are the things that are going to set you apart when it comes to, again, being a leadership role within organizations. I would even add empathy. You have to be a leader that is able to connect with people, um,
Mhm.
understand, you have awareness of yourself and your emotions, but also of others. And
Mhm.
people need that. Before it was considered being too emotional when you did that, but our employees, they need that. So emotional intelligence is not a buzzword. It's not.
Right.
It's really going to help set you apart and help you stand out as a great leader. And this is another one, and I learned this when I became a CFO.
Okay.
I have to position myself as a business partner. I'm not just an accountant. I'm a partner to the CEO of the organization. I'm
Mhm.
not just reporting numbers and saying this is what they are, but I
Right.
am having to tell the story behind them that helps drive the strategy of the organization. So we're thinking beyond compliance. We're thinking beyond financial reporting in the typical terms,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
how do those numbers in the story drive strategy to help grow an organization, mitigate risk, or improve efficiencies?
Mhm.
Uh, Another area I've had to learn to present financial information, which at times can be a bit technical, can be a bit complex. I've had to communicate it in a way to non-financial stakeholders.
Yes.
So it's clear, it's
Yep.
actionable, and relevant to them. That can be tough when we're sometimes we're in our own bubble as accountants and we're working through things that make sense to us.
Right.
Have employees, you're going to have board members, donors who may not have that same level of financial sophistication. You're going to have to help them. So that
Mhm.
communication piece is important. And that strategic mindset, it's going beyond closing the books and the day-to-day numbers and the budget, but thinking about broader goals of the organization and how
Yep.
financial resources drive that. Um, I have to say, I have not, you mentioned the kind words earlier about where I've come, but I've gotten there because of other people. I have had people that have been cheerleaders, advocates, sponsors who
Yes.
have truly poured into me and supported me. And now I tell people, I got to pay it back. I
That's
got to pay
right.
it back. I have to help others move forward. So as you're moving up your ladder, your lattice, however you're moving, you got to bring other people with you. So whether you're mentoring other women, you're advocating for them, you have to do that. No one becomes successful on their own. They say it,
Nope.
that is a lie. Sharing knowledge. I'm speaking with you today, trying to drop knowledge on people because other people have given it to me, and
Yes.
so I have to share it. Um, I'll tell a quick story. I had a young lady reach out to me on LinkedIn a few years ago in COVID, saying, "I'm trying to become a CPA. I'm studying and I'm struggling." And for over about a year and a half, through my own pregnancy with my second child, I was there to support her very virtually because it was COVID, just
Right.
being that guide for her and that mentor, someone to cheerlead her as she's passing exams and sometimes failing them and taking them again. 2 years later, she passes. She gets her CPA license and she says, "Jessica, I don't think I could ever repay you. But you don't have to repay me. I need you to do this for someone else that's going to come
The
to you."
next. Yep.
Absolutely. Someone that's going to come to you and say, "I'm struggling. I want to be a
Mhm.
CPA and I need help." That's what I need you to do. You don't have to repay me because me helping you is how I'm repaying the others that have helped me.
Right.
And you have to not look at this in the bubble of just yourself, but doing
Yep.
this to support others. If I had to bring final thoughts, all of this is a marathon. It's a marathon. I am living it. I am still in it. This has been a journey for me. This is not a
Yeah.
sprint.
Right.
You don't have to have it all figured out. And it's okay. I don't have
Right.
to have it figured out. What I'm thinking now, I may do in the future can change next year, 5 years from now. But I
Hmm.
am committed to, again, building those relationships, having those connections, which are important, that continuous learning journey that I don't
Yeah.
stop learning. It's always this thirst for knowledge and continuing to sharpen, continuing to hone my leadership skills. I want to be the best leader I can be. And I know that it
Hmm.
doesn't just stop. It is a journey. And being able to do that, you're not just going to be a professional. You're not just going to be an accountant. You truly then are able to be a leader. Love it. I love it.
Thank you for you. There were a lot of gems that you dropped in there. Uh, the networking. People, it's all about not only who you know, but you as a person. People gravitate to you as a person. You can teach a skill set. You can teach all of these different tools and tricks, but who you are as a person is what attracts people to you. It's what keeps you in the back of someone's mind when they're talking to somebody else, and what makes them refer you that conversations, just like you say, happening when you're not even in the room. So we should be mindful of that. There are all of these people in the world, but it is a small world, and even more
Yes.
so in your specific space, whether you're in accounting, whether you're in marketing, whatever your space is, people know each
Mhm.
other, people talk. And so it's about presenting your best self. And that doesn't mean cowering down. You can still speak up for yourself. You can still advocate for yourself, but there's a way
Yeah.
to do that. There's a way to do all of those things so that people hear what you have to say and not hear the emotion behind what it is you're saying. And then that gets clouded because now they're looking at, oh, but you were angry. Oh, but all of this other stuff. And they have missed everything, all of the words that were coming out of your mouth. So you drop so many great gems, but the biggest piece I'll say to kind of sum it all up, if I can, is your personal brand.
Yes.
Who are you presenting? And how does that brand align with where you're trying to go? Whether it's, another organization, whether it's a promotion, whatever it is, how does that brand align? And that's about knowing who you are, being confident who you are, always growing, always learning in whatever way that fits, um, and just making yourself more marketable. So thank you for all of that. I co-sign every single thing that you said because it is so true. I've seen it with myself in speaking specifically to people of color, and how we sometimes get intimidated when no one else in the room looks like us. And I, even myself, going from that as, do I really belong here? Like, oh, if I'm too loud, are they're gonna realize I'm here, and like, oh my gosh, who let her in the room? But understanding that we work just as hard, and oftentimes more so, to get where we
Yes.
are, and we deserve everything that is for us. So,
All of
um,
it.
yes, all the things. So, thank you again. I appreciate you, and I don't, for your expert opinion. Thank you
I
so much.
appreciate that. Thank you.